Hi there. We're going to talk a little bit about Unit 4, Topic 1, Inductive Reasoning. I just wanted to touch a little bit on this. I did post a video, but I want to get a little bit about very generalized. We have inductive and deductive reasoning. The idea that the difference between the two is with inductive reasoning, you're trying to develop a theory. So maybe you have a bunch of little parts or a sequence of numbers and you're trying to come up with a theory that would apply going forward. Whereas with deductive reasoning, you're given some general information, you're trying to apply that or test that existing theory. So just so we make sure we're clear, on here in the modules, you have 4.1 inductive reasoning. When you open that, you'll see this sheet. And in this sheet, you have a bunch of fill in the blanks and some other information like examples and stuff. With the fill in the blank, I just want to make sure everybody sees that the answers are down below. So you guys do have the answers. If you have any questions about these worksheets, let me know. I'll be more than happy to walk through them, but I don't want to give you too much information. I want to make sure to try to get you information that'll help you. So you let me know if you have questions about that. I will gladly walk through any of that. The one thing I do want to do is go through a couple of examples for inductive reasoning just to make sure that it's really clear what you need to do. So I've clicked on a preview of the homework assignment just to kind of go through an example. So here's looking at inductive reasoning. Again, with inductive reasoning, you have little parts and you're trying to come up with a general rule or a theory. So in this question, it says, look at the pattern, find the next number in the sequence using inductive reasoning. So here we're given a pattern of numbers and we're trying to, or excuse me, we're given a series of numbers and we're trying to come up with a pattern that applies to them. Now this, I'm just looking again, this one I'm looking, I noticed, if I do 5 times 10, I get 50. But how do I get from 50 to 10? Well, I divide by 5. Okay, so how do I get from 10 to 100? I multiply by 10. So that kind of is the same application here. And 100 divided by 20 is 5. So the process here is multiply by 10, divide by 5. Multiply by 10, divide by 5. So we need to multiply by 10, which would give us 200. So let's go ahead and check that. Let's submit. Perfect. You're hard. Oh, I love the positive reinforcement. Let's check out another example. Find the pattern and use inductive reasoning to predict the next number. So it's the same thing. Again, we're given little parts or more detail, and we're trying to come up with a general rule. So here it looks like if we divide that by 2, we get from 400 to 200. If we subtract 100, then we get to, or excuse me, add 100, then we get to 300. So it looks like maybe divide by 2 and then add 100. Let's see what happens. So if we divide by 2, 300 to 150 gives us divide by 2 and then add 100. So let's divide 250 by 2 and what do we get? 125. So let's check that. 125. Submit. Correct. You nailed it. All right, let's see what else we got. Again, some of this is just a matter of kind of coming up with it. So let's see what this one says, deductive reasoning. So in this one, we're actually given a theory and we're going to like test it given more specific information. So here we're using deductive reasoning. Which statement is true given the following information? Monica buys only green vegetables. Monica buys cucumbers. Cucumbers are vegetables. So we know she only buys green vegetables. That's important. So we have Monica sometimes buys cucumbers. Cucumbers are green, or Monica never buys cucumbers. Well, we know that's not true because it says right here, Monica buys cucumbers. Cucumbers are green. We know that that's true, but can we tell that just from this? Let's see. Well, Monica buys only green vegetables and Monica buys cucumbers. So we could use deductive reasoning to say that cucumbers are green. Let's go ahead and click that and see what happens. Perfect. Your hard work is paying off. Now, again, I use deductive reasoning. I was told 3 things about, or 3 things in general. Monica only buys green vegetables. Monica buys cucumbers, and cucumbers are vegetables. Now, Monica sometimes buys cucumbers. We were told that that's not really using deductive reasoning. Cucumbers are green is not something we were told, but we were able to use these parts to deduce, like how I use that, deduce that cucumbers are green. That's where the word comes from, deductive reasoning and deduce. All right, so let's see. Let's go through another one. All right, using deductive reasoning. Again, we're given some rules and we're going to test those rules or come up with another thing that would follow those rules. Using deductive reasoning, which statement is true given the following? Miss Stevens loves all mammals. Grizzlies are a type of bear. All bears are mammals. So, she loves all mammals. Miss Stevens likes grizzlies. Well, that's probably true, but it says loves. It doesn't say she likes, it says she loves. It says Miss Stevens loves grizzlies, and Miss Stevens hates grizzlies. Now, we could maybe say that, but let's stick with the love since we know that she loves all mammals, and we know that grizzlies are a type of bear, which is a type of mammal. So let me just kind of put this in another way, just so you know. So we have, is it Miss Stevens? So we know that she loves mammals. I'm going to break it down just so you guys can see. Once you get into more like higher math, it gets a little more complicated with deductive reasoning. Mammals. And we know that, what does it say here? It says grizzlies are a type of bear. So, oops, I just lost my page, didn't I? Well, okay. Miss Stevens loves mammals. And grizzlies are a type of bear, right? Bear. And we know, what does it say? Bears are mammals. Bears are mammals. Are mammals. So we know then that Miss Stevens loves bears, right? Because if she didn't love bears, something here breaks down. Either the bears are not mammals, or grizzlies are not bears, or she doesn't love mammals. So since we know all of these are true, this has to be true. So let's click on that. Submit. Perfect. All right, so there's like a couple of examples of inductive and deductive reasoning and how it breaks down where, like I said, deductive reasoning is where you use a rule and you test it with like some specifics. Whereas inductive reasoning is where you're using either a pattern of numbers or bits and pieces of information to come up with a bigger theory. All right, if you have any questions about the inductive versus deductive reasoning or how to apply it in these problems, let me know.